Hello. Today we're going to talk about configuration variables in OnShape. This is the ladder that we made last time. You can see that the ladder can change between a 6-foot ladder and an 8-foot ladder. A configuration variable allows us to do things such as type in the number of rungs we want instead of choosing from a list. Let's explore how that works. Over here, when we are configuring something, we can click Add Configuration Input, and one of our options is Configuration Variable. I'm going to give it a name, such as number of rungs. And you can see that we have a choice of what the variable is going to be. Is it going to be a length, an angle, an integer, a real, or a text? I'm going to choose integer because I want to be able to type in a single whole number for the number of rungs that will be created. And you can see that it's going to give me a new variable right here, hashtag rungs. So what I have to do is I have to go in and type where I want that variable to use. And so for me, I want to type it into the number of times it's patterned. Instead of saying I want it to be patterned 8 times or 6 times or 2 times, I'm just going to type in hashtag rungs. And that's going to link, you can see the linear pattern, first instance. It's going to link that to the variable rungs. And you can see now I have a choice up here in my configuration. Rungs is currently set at 1, but I can type in 5. I can type in 8. I can type in 72. And it'll give me that number of rungs. So that's a really cool use of the configuration variable. I can use this in so many ways. Let's say instead of configuring the number of rungs, I want to configure the size of my sketch. Let's say I want to be able to change this dimension of my object. So what I would do is I'd click that I want to, undo. I want to create a configuration variable. I want to name it width of ladder. And I want it to be a length that I can type in a length. So what I can do is I can configure in this sketch this number. Instead of 2 inches, I can type in hashtag width. And you can see it shows up, width of ladder. Check. And, oh, come on. I can choose width of ladder. Check. And you can see that it's matched right here, and I have a new variable right here, width of ladder. I should be able to change it to 2. You can see it's making it wider, or 5, or 10. So this configuration variables is really cool. It lets you have more user input than you did before. Your guys' mission today is going to be to use this to configure a Lego brick. You should be able to create a single Lego brick and then type an integer for the length and width to pattern this brick. So the same way that the brick does not need to have a hollow inside. So the same way that we created our ladder pattern, we're going to create the brick pattern. So right over here, you can see that we patterned the ladder right here downwards. I don't want 72. I'm going to change it back to like 6 to make this easier for you guys. Yeah, so you can see how we patterned the ladder right here in one direction. What I would do is I would create this Lego brick, and I would pattern it in 2 directions, one length and one width. So I would create a variable called length, and then I'd create a variable called width, and then I would put one of them in here as, instead of hashtag rungs, you could put hashtag length. And then you can see there's a second direction button right here. You can make that hashtag width so that you can pattern it in 2 directions, both wide So see how like you can have like more than one. See how it's like becoming wider and wider? You can pattern it like this way. That's what you're going to do with your Lego brick, is you're going to pattern it both sideways and down by using the two directions. Let me know if you need some help. Let's get started creating some configuration variables of our Lego brick.